If you was now you're in charge of, I don't know, football at an academy level across the nation, because I'm just thinking about your time as well, listening to what the questions and what you were saying. You worked in an environment where you had no 23s, and you had to go straight from 18s to first team environment in regards to your time at Leyton Orient. Is that did that model help those players? Did they have to learn quickly to be ready at 18s, knowing that, do you know what, next year you're not going to get those extra 2 or 3 years in 23s football. It's first team, and you're not going to get a contract unless you're ready.
No, I just think they didn't get the chance. But what happened was that if it wasn't for the negative stuff that happened at Orient, those boys wouldn't have got the chance to play.
What's that with the players?
So with the chairman and the club and the non-payments and players not wanting to play, and all the negative stuff that was going around gave 8 boys, 9 boys a chance to play first team football, which they never would have played.
5 to 6 games.
5 to 6, 8 games, 10 games.
Yeah.
You know, and those players now, some of them playing Premier League, one's playing Premier League, some are playing League 1, League 2, and they've forged careers from
that
what they've been exposed to. So, it worked out. It doesn't happen too often.
Yeah. Do you think if that never happened in regards to chairman money and all that sort of stuff, because that's kind of that's not going to happen at every club all the time in regards to the clubs that don't have a 23s environment. If that would happen in a normal circumstance, do the 18s in that environment have more time, or do they just get lost after 18s, or is it better for them because they go, do you know what, we ain't got 2 more years after this, it's literally 2 years in apprenticeship and then I've got to be ready?
I think if I'm honest, players probably in League 1, League 2 academies are in a better position because they're closer to getting into the first team. The level is not as high as what it would be in the Premier League Championship. So the where they need to get to is not so far away.
The level.
Yeah, so they've got a chance of, and that's what they do. They'll pop them in, they'll use them for training because their numbers are not as big as Premier League and Championship clubs.
So they're being exposed.
They'll be in and around it, and they're being exposed to training with them every day, and so they're closer to getting into the first team. Whereas in the Premier League and the Championship, obviously, as you know, you've got 30 squad, you've got 30-man squad, you've got 23s, you've got, for them to get to there is a lot harder. Yeah. So, which do I think is not having a 20? So basically, the question is not having a 23s or having a 23s, or having just an 18s. It depends where what club you're at. If you're an 18s in a Premier League club, then I'd say probably having a 23s is good because it gives you that more time to get to the first
those
team.
Higher levels.
But if you're in the lower leagues, and you're an 18s, you've probably got, from 18s you can jump into first team and float around.
The jump is not so big.
So two different models works, you know.
One thing I'm just thinking about sort of the clubs, maybe I'm just thinking about maybe like a Brentford. I mean, they've got rid of their kind of academy system and probably got sort of a reserves. And you look at Wickham, who just got promoted to the Championship, and they've got no academy system. They've just been promoted to the Championship, and I suppose it works. Different models work for different reasons, I guess. So it's quite interesting. Want to talk a little bit about, obviously, you're a national youth coach, which is great. And now that's probably a whole different environment then in regards to both. So you work at, what age group do you work with?
I'm 17s now.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. And you're working with probably the elite now. We're talking the best of the best in terms of the so-called best of the best in their age groups in regards to the national team and the England youth, which over the last few years have had positive things going for them. In terms of the development at that level, we seem to be doing really good. What's that like in terms of, you're managing high achievers? Is it a case of you're just facilitating an environment and they're just, listen, just play, guys. You guys are the elite, the best of the best. Or is there a degree of, yes, there will be development there because they're only 16 and maybe sometimes 15-year-old young boys. What's that like?
It's really... First off, it's really good. The environment is elite, like you say. Everything around you, the the things you've got to your disposal
Yeah.
in respect of analysis, in respect of staff, in respect of just
Yeah.
everything. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's beautiful. It's lovely. Can't moan. It's perfect.
Yeah.
In respect of players coming in from clubs from all over the country and all over the world, like you say, they're the best of the best. So when it comes to putting on sessions and asking for them to do stuff, sometimes they get it straight away. Not all the time. They're still young boys. They've still got a lot of learning and developing to do. So it isn't as what everyone thinks. They're still learning. They're still developing. But yes, there's an element of right. Let's put practice on. Let's get on with it. And you see the qualities of each individual player. What's worrying probably is that a lot of the time I don't know what the stats are, but you have boys play international football that don't do anything after that. They play international football, and then you've got boys who've never played international football go on to have careers.
Yeah.
So it's even a harder gauge for those boys when they don't. We come back to when you don't make it as a player.
Yeah. That must be real. I mean, I'd like to think that the stats of that are small in terms of margins, but if you play, let's say you're a 16-year England international, and then in the current climate, and then you go back to your club, and then you get released, or you get.
I don't think it's not about being released at those. If you're a good 15, 16,
let's say you go on to 20. Yeah, you go on to 22s,
Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah.
And then at that stage, you hit a bit of a brick wall.
Yeah.
That must be difficult.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. I can imagine. I had knockbacks in my career when I was young.
Yeah.
That you either gain like a strength from it and it pushes you, or you go the other way and you can't deal with it. Fortunately for me, I was the one who said, "Well, let's go again." Some players maybe can't handle that. But yeah, no. Being in England, coming back to it is, it's great working in that environment, and the boys they're very level-headed. They come into England obviously with a high expectation of how they have to act. Their education is, they do more education on camp than they do out on the grass.
Yeah.
So which is, when I first went in under 15s, it surprised me.
Yeah.
So whatever time they're on the grass, they're on double in the classroom.
Wow.
So things are good. Things are balanced.
Well, very interesting. I know there's been big things in the press recently as well in regards to like BAME and the strategy around that. And you are, in terms of that category, do you think that those things will stay? Do you think you've benefited? Do you think what's your thoughts around that?
I think I've been asked this question before, and I think it can only benefit football and benefit BAME coaches.
Yeah.
If it allows people to have the opportunity to be heard and to show what qualities they have, I think it can only be a good thing. Mm-hmm. The thing that's important is that you as a person, when you get given the opportunity, you grasp it with both hands, you respect it, and you keep developing to be the best you can be. Because just because you get the opportunity doesn't mean say that you're going to stay there.
Yeah.
So you have to be...
It opens a few doors.
It opens doors, but you still have to have a certain quality. It's hard when, obviously, sometimes things can be said where you only got the opportunity because you're a BAME coach. I suppose I've heard that a few times. I've heard people say that a few times. It's not a nice feeling. I'm sure people don't want to feel that they've been given a leg up and a token gesture. Here's a position, because that doesn't help no one or anything.
No, I would agree with you, to be honest, in terms of that, and just saying that you want to be qualified. You want to make sure you got the qualifications like everyone else. You want to make sure that you got the knowledge and understanding like everyone else. You want to make sure that when you get there and you're there because of the opportunity, that you can stand up and say, actually, do you know what? That person is actually really good at their job. First and foremost. Yeah,
definitely. So I think I initially went into England as a BAME coach under 15s, and it's developed now from 16s, 17s, where I'm a specialist coach. Yeah. So for me going in, people recognising that I've added a certain amount of quality to what I'm to my position, and now it's I'm in there and I'm working with the 17s, and it's been brilliant. So no, I think it's been a good thing, as long as everybody respects what it is, and that you don't take it for granted.
Good.